What up?
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 29th issue of Why Am I Nervous and Chill? What Up Comics, where each and every week we get together to talk all things comics, from old to new, fan theories to what ifs, we've got you covered. I'm Cameron James, joining me, as always, the golden voice of the podcast, Matt Ferreira, and our first returning guests, which you'll remember from the Moon Knight episode, is Kyle, and from the Battle of the Strongest Characters,
yeah.
none other than Dave. What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, fellas.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us for. Oh, sorry.
Just say we were talking before, Kyle and I, about, speaking of the Moon Knight thing. It's how what the hell is it? Oscar Isaacs.
Oscar Isaac got cast.
It got cast as a Solid Snake from the Metal Gear games.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that.
Kyle's the same thing.
You know what? When you see some of the artwork that they did side by side, I'm like, all right, I'm in. He's older though, isn't he? Isn't he like in his 40s?
He is, for all things considered. Yeah, he is kind of old.
Yes.
The thing is, I don't know where they're going with the movie. I don't know if they're going with the first game or they're gonna just do their own thing.
Do you think it'll be trippy like the way the games are? You know, the games at some point will fuck with you and talk to you and stuff. Do you think the movies will kind of?
I think. You know, my thoughts on it overall. Number one, I'm just gonna say this up front. If they fuck this movie up, I'm gonna take this one personally because I love Metal Gear. They fuck up every video game movie, but if they fuck this one up, I'm gonna take this one very personally because those games are amazing. They're very well done. And to answer Matt's question, I don't think they're gonna do that because that was very much a quirk of the creator, the Japanese guy who created it. And we Americans don't get that kind of humor, you know. So I think they're just going to Americanize it and make it all American and, you know.
Put some cheeseburgers in it, yeah.
Yeah, there's some cheeseburgers and American flag in it. And, Pamela Anderson, yes.
The only thing I do know is that the writer / I think he's also the director for it, has been constantly in talks with Hideo Kojima, who actually did all the games. Okay. And he gave him his blessings. He's like, I like your script, like everything you were doing. Go with it.
Okay.
So he definitely had some influence on it, and I really do hope they get those quirks. At some point, Psycho Mantis looks at the screen and is like, "Oh, you think you're watching a movie or something?"
Oh man, so good. Yeah, good memories there. Good memories.
Matt, you didn't play any of them, did you?
No, I never had any of those games. So Kyle knows this. I don't think the rest of you do. I was super limited with what I was allowed to play as a kid for video games. I really wanted Final Fantasy VII, and my mom said no because Cloud had that monster sword. And the dude at the store actually had my back. He was like, no, ma'am, you don't understand. It's all just turn-based. He doesn't actually even hit anything with the sword. It's basically just there for display. She goes, well, there's the idea behind it. And he doesn't need that influence. I was like, what? But I just want to play the game. I pretty much only had Crash Bandicoot.
My mom bought me GTA 3 when it came out. And I'll never forget. I mean, I must have been, I don't know how long ago that game is. Was it a PlayStation 2 game?
PlayStation, yeah, dude, that was 2000.
Yeah, so I was 13, 14 maybe at the oldest at that time. And I remember going into the GameStop in Monmouth Mall, and the guy was trying to convince my mom, your son should not play this game. And I was like, it's a video game. How bad could it be? I just remember
and then she saw it. Yeah.
I don't think she ever did. I just remember doing the freaking, there was the cheat code where you could bring the stripper in the back of the car. And it was just it was over after that.
Well, before we get on too big of a video game tangent, I will say my favorite reaction of my mom to a video game with anything, and I've got a bunch. Actually, there's two really good ones, but the story I'm going to tell right now was my cousin and I were playing Gears of War when it first came out. And something happened. She happened to walk in the room. We just got this new big ass TV. She happened to walk in the room as I held down the B button and sliced someone in half. It was thanks. You're just what is this game? What is this? You shouldn't be playing this.
I forgot about that.
Dude, that game is violent as fuck, unnecessarily. It's why would you just sit there and chainsaw someone in half? That's so impractical on the battlefield. That would take such a long time. They got armor and stuff. You're sitting there, people are still shooting at you. Doesn't make any sense.
I will say that the first one was good. They kind of steer away. The fourth one I played, I was like, that was it for me. I
tried to play the fourth. I couldn't really get all the way into it.
I didn't bother fucking with the fifth one at all. But going with talking about the Metal Gear thing, and like we said before, there really has never been a good video game movie.
Oh no.
Uh,
The closest. I'll say this for whatever you guys are gonna laugh, but for whatever it's worth, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out this year was actually pretty good. It's
I still haven't seen it yet. I need to.
It's not great. I'm not gonna stand on a pedestal and whatever, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. It's fun. It's a breezy, light movie. It's a fun kids film. So but it's not bad. So that's probably the best attempt at a video game movie, in my opinion. So
the Pikachu movie wasn't bad.
Oh
I didn't see that one either.
yeah. Okay, yeah. There's another one. Okay, I'll give that one.
The twist was a little cheesy in that movie, though.
Well, don't tell me it. I didn't see it. So.
I won't. It's like you can predict 5 minutes into it.
Yeah.
But Dave, were you gonna say something about video game movies? I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, the only one that I ever thought was really so I never saw Sonic, and I haven't seen a Pikachu movie. It always comes to mind is I want to say it's Dead or Alive. I think
the fighter game.
Yeah, there's
right.
Really Dead or Alive. Interesting.
It's a live action. It was really, really well done. That like if you didn't know it was based on a video game, it could pass as a regular movie. Now it wasn't a great movie, but it could definitely pass as a regular movie.
There was like a famous actress in that movie, I think, which played the girl Christina or
Tara Reid, I think.
Was Tara Reid in it?
I think I'm almost sure that's that movie. Yeah, I think.
I mean, because I remember like watching like clips of it, and I was like, yeah, 2006, almost 33% Rotten Tomato, and
wonderful score. Who's in it?
Who the fuck are these three chicks?
So
Jamie Presley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, close enough.
And then I don't know the other chicks. I know the one girl was in Fast and the Furious, though.
Yeah, she was also in Sin City. Devin Aoki, or
she was in Sin City.
Oh yeah, she was in Sin City. She was in Fast and Furious. She was in something else too.
I'll give it to the Sin City movies. Is that they do a pretty good job following the comic pretty damn close.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. I like both of them.
I would say the second one I wasn't too big on. I think it strayed a little bit too far.
I don't even remember there being a second Sin City movie.
Yeah,
because no one watched it.
I don't remember that happening at all.
It was a Dame to Kill For is which one it was.
Yeah,
but I think the first one they changed something pretty. Didn't they change the yellow guy in the first one or some shit, or was he the same character?
It was more or less the same. I read some of the original Frank Miller books, so it was pretty close. I mean, what was it? Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, he stuck pretty closely to the material in most of them. The second one, he like you said, he deviated a little bit. I will say, Matt, I highly recommend. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but the main segment, Sin City is all about segments. The main segment with the Dame to Kill For segment with Eva Green. Oh Lord!
In the beginning,
it's the main segment. It's the longest one.
When she's like with the bed and the guy's like watching, the guy's taking the cameras from the.
Yep, that one. Yep.
Yeah, they pulled that directly from the book.
Directly.
No
that one is well, and that's well done. That's probably
the
only thing you need to watch from that movie. You can skip all the other segments.
Literally, the only difference I think between the book and that scene on film is in film she has clothes on. In the book, I think she's like naked the entire time.
That's disappointing.
She gets naked. No, she gets naked a lot in the movie. I trust. I've seen it a few times.
I think the best part about that movie that they do really well is the red, black, and white. Filming.
Yeah,
because you don't see that ever anywhere else.
No, that's true. I really, really dig that style, that filmmaking. It's really well done, if nothing else.
And the guy in yellow, highlights in yellow, and you see like the yellow. I don't think they do that in the book though. I think in the now I'm at the.
I honestly don't remember.
I have them back there somewhere. I have to pull
It's been a while since I've read those.
Since you read those, and I did. Has anyone started? I know Matt's got me reading Absolute Carnage. Anyone read that yet? Oh my
god, dude! So Absolute Carnage, I fucking love. It's like got me so excited to read like a new comic, and I've been excited for new comics in a while. And then King in Black is like the spiritual successor. It's like it sets up King in Black, and King in Black's also really fucking good. Like, Kyle, this is like, I haven't been this excited since like we were reading like Siege and like all those other major Marvel events back in the day.
All right, two things.
Secret
Number
Invasion,
one,
all that.
Number one, I am shocked to hear that from Matt. I thought Matt was about to say it was garbage. Number two, for a split second, I thought you were talking about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, the movie. And I was just like, holy shit, did that come out? So
No.
I was kind of angry because I forgot that was a thing until just now.
Yeah, Let There Be Carnage. Oh, can't wait for that.
I highly recommend, if you guys get the chance, read Absolute Carnage and then start King in Black. The first issue just came out, and it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm only on the first comic is like 3 comics in one.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 combined, but it's good. Like, I mean, am I wrong? Is it not a good read?
It's good. I think. I mean, it's darker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's like dark as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely darker than I thought it was going to be by a long shot. And I don't really understand the. I'm not big into Spider-Man, obviously. So that's the
crazy thing. It's like not even about him. It's like straight up a Venom story.
Yeah, but if you don't really know the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom and Spider-Man and Peter Parker, you're kind of like I don't know it that well, and I'm kind of like, these guys are friends now.
They're not. That's it. Yeah, like it. I get what you're saying, but like you kind of get the vibe. It's just like. Spider-Man explains at one point that he feels responsible to do things because, you know, his whole power and responsibility shtick. So it's part of why he ends up helping him. But they end up having a conversation about it later on in the book that helps the bit too.
And about why they're working together. I got to the
I don't
one.
Want to spoil anything.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I got to the one part when you find out about the person in the grave, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's yeah." So that was kind of like what, but yeah, I mean, I guess. If you're a big Spider-Man guy, you definitely like it. If you like gritty comics, you definitely like it. But if you don't know anything about Spider-Man and Venom's relationship, I would not read it.
Okay.
Pretty good though. You might just need some you might need to do a quick background check, but yeah.
And I'll say it again, Marvel does such a better job than DC of directing you like where to go if you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Like
no,
DC,
the little blurb in the beginning really helps set up. Like you feel like, okay, I know everything I need to from these like 2 paragraphs I just read. I can jump into this book both feet first. It's great.
Yeah, and again, like if they talk about something, I reference where it was, which they did really well in the Long Halloween we talked about. And Dave, what did we read with you?
Lucifer.
No,
we didn't read it yet. We just got that in.
When I came in, that was
what did we review?
I can picture it. It's a clock. Why can't my brain?
Was it Doomsday Clock?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle. Look, I mean, and I get it in a standpoint of like how that follows. Actually, I'm not going to bullshit this. I had no idea what the fuck was going on in that book.
Fair enough.
It was just so like, and I haven't read The Button yet. I don't know how The Button ties in with.
Is it called The Button?
Yeah. And the front cover is
the button.
No, the front cover is the Flash and Batman holding the button. It's like side by side picture of the two of them, I think.
Yeah.
It's really it's weird. I don't know what the tie-in is.
I think I have such an issue with it because they were never meant to cross over into the same world. So it feels like a lot of the DC characters are kind of forced into the book, and I'm like, why is this happening? Like they're unnecessarily in Arkham. Like some of that bothered me.
You guys both agreed on that. Dave, you have an opinion on that?
No, yeah, I agree with Matt. I feel like getting through it, it was just there was no reason for any of the characters to really like any of the DC characters to be there. They were like background characters that sort of moved the plot, but really nothing happened with them.
Because wasn't the big fight with Superman and Dr. Manhattan? It was, right?
Well, kind of. There was a confrontation. I'll put it to you that way.
No, because we could talk about that. Because I remember like being like, why? Like it was like, I guess my thing too with that book was Dr. Manhattan like beats around the bush when he talks. Like, just fucking tell him what's gonna happen. Like, stop saying like, oh, well, this might happen. Am I going to die or is he going to die? Who's going to die? One of us. It's like, yo, we get the point. Like someone's going to die. Like just fucking get it over with.
Yeah. I'll say that. I think, Jeff Johns delivered.
That was Jeff Johns, right?
It was Jeff Johns. Yeah. He he deliberately aped Alan Moore's writing style for that book. I mean, very blatantly, and I think on purpose. Just the way the book was drawn and written, and how the panels were structured, it was all meant to evoke the original Watchmen, and how it was the dense layers and all that. That was the whole thing about Alan Moore's book. It was very dense, right? There's like a lot of work. He spoke in a lot of, literary metaphorical references and all this. It was just it was like one of those books you have to sit down and just really digest it. So I think he attempted that. I thought he did a half decent job at doing that. I mean, Jeff Johns is not Alan Moore. He's also not nearly as crazy as Alan Moore. He's a crazy motherfucker, but that's a whole other story. But I liked. I don't know. It resonated with me. I liked it. I liked it because I liked it. I think I liked it because it was all he made it all about Superman at the end of the day. And I've been becoming more and more of a fan of Superman over the last decade or so, especially since Spider-Man.
Mention that. Wait, since what? Hold on.
You heard what I said.
No, I really didn't. You cut out right there.
Oh. I said since Spider-Man had been letting me down for a while, so I needed a new outlet to
disrespect.
But he's on the come up. I'm gonna say that Spider-Man's back on the come up. I'm loving the character again.
There you go.
Which Spider-Man though?
Well, I mean, I think just as an IP character, right? It seemed like 10 years ago, everything was just fucked up with him.
They didn't know what they were doing. They had no clear direction.
Yeah, the movies are fucked up. The comics were fucked up. They canceled Spectacular Spider-Man. It seemed like they were doing everything possible to push away people like me and Matt who grew up with this guy, and say, no,
this is
not for you anymore. Yeah. So I stopped loving him for a while. Matt knows this very well. I stopped loving him for a while. So
I never stopped.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Moon Knight too going forward, being that Disney is doing that. Every comic shop we go to, like, give any Moon Knight stuff, and they're like, no. So it's like, are they going to start reprinting all the stuff that was previously written, which is going to suck because I just spent like $60 on the bottom comic, but are they going to start putting out new comics with him? I'm assuming they're going to have to. I don't see why.
For sure. Marvel always does that. They always release comics for synergy with whatever movie or TV show they got.
Yeah, that's why we're seeing a ton of Black Widow stuff come up right now.
Yeah.
But does anyone really care about that?
No.
No, not really. No.
I mean, that movie probably should have gone directly to on demand. It probably shouldn't have even.
It's going. Yeah, I think it's going to now.
Well, trust me, it's coming. It's matter of fact, this Thursday, I believe, we're going to get announcements from Disney about what they're doing with it, and we're going to get new announcements about new Marvel stuff too. So
you think so? Did they announce that?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's what they're doing is that there's a big Disney investor meeting on Thursday, where where I guess all the shareholders talk, and info always leaks from that. And that's where they're going to announce what they're doing, with everything, what they're going to do with Disney Plus, what new stuff's coming down the pipeline, and all that stuff. So Thursday, we're going to hear more.
Well, I hope they got a better plan for Deadpool. I'm not happy with some of the updates and changes they made there with the writing staff. So
you mean they got the guys that write Bob's Burgers? That's gonna be awesome.
It's It's two women, isn't it?
It's two sisters. Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
No,
I'm okay with it in theory. I just don't like changing something that's been successful for the past two movies when you're moving it to a new dimension, essentially. Like, literally, it's going to be in a new dimension. So changing the writing just makes you a little nervous that we'll lose some of what's made the previous movies great.
Wait, it's not. You're saying it's changing, like, universe.
It's coming to the MCU,
right?
Well, maybe. Maybe.
I'm kind of in maybe at that with Kyle. I don't see how they're going to pull that together.
The easiest way they can do it is with that stupid teleport thing where he started like going back and killing all of his characters at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He'd just be like, I broke it, I'm here now. And literally that's the only explanation we need.
Wait, does he still have that thing?
Yeah, he had it at the end of the movie.
Oh, I didn't know if he gave it back to Cable or not.
No, he gets it fixed, goes back and kills all of his characters, and then the movie just ends.
Yeah.
Unless they do some weird shit and he shows up in the Multiverse of Madness movie.
It's possible. I think it's possible with that. I think it's possible. I think that I don't know. It's a good question. I think the reason why we haven't heard much from Deadpool 3 from between now is because I think Disney is just as stumped as we are what to do with him. I think Disney's like, well, we definitely need to make more movies because his movies are way too successful. They made too much money.
Yep.
But we can't monkey wrench this into the MCU as Feige curated it, you know?
I think they can, though. I think Deadpool is the perfect character to be able to do that because, as Dave said, he dimension hops as it is to begin with. And then you can have it, like I said on, I think it was the last episode when we first uncovered this, like if he's in a Spider-Man movie that's PG-13 and he can't curse, if every time he goes to say fuck and it comes out like fluffy kittens, he can make a joke out of it. Like, it's one of the few characters that you really don't have to worry about him fitting in that much because you can just throw him in and his random appearance works. And it's pretty much the definition of the character. Like, he is that random guy that just shows up and does random things and then disappears.
It has to be, but they have to be careful. They just have to be very careful because I think if you do it the wrong way, Deadpool popping up in the wrong movie and doing his shtick could really break the tone of that movie, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, it obviously definitely depends on the movie. Like, you can't really have him out there with like.
If you put him in the new Spider-Man movie with all of those rumors of like every Spider-Man ever is going to be in the damn thing, and like they broke the multiverse or whatever the hell it is that they're doing, you could have that shtick of just like he can't curse the entire time, and then in the end credits, like that's where they could be like, "What the fuck." And he's like freaking out that like he can actually curse.
Yeah, that's like the one he gets for the movie because he can say it like once. I think, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. There was I don't know if the photo was fake or not. I saw one yesterday that they said like there was like a poster for the new Spider-Man movie and it literally said like "There's always been 3" or something like that.
I'm not a fan of this. For the record, I don't like what they're doing. The things I've seen, like I trust Kevin Feige, but I am not a fan of going straight to multiverse because, as Cameron and I have said, the last movie sets it up so perfectly for us to get the classic Spider-Man that some of us grew up with, and all of us technically grew up with if we were reading the books. Whereas, like, he's kind of hated by the media, but still out doing his thing. Regular people think he's a menace. Like, we finally were about to get a real glimpse of that, and now they're gonna kind of fuck it up by going full multiverse. Like, I was so excited to see them explore what was going to happen with the end of that movie.
Yeah. And also, Cam, so what you saw is fake. Sony's released nothing about this movie officially.
Fuck
nothing.
Sony. For the record.
there's nothing official. There's been little tidbits, rumors coming out, but they're keeping this one very close to the vest. They're filming it right now. They've been filming it for like a month, and they're not saying anything about it so far. So I think that in itself says that there is something big going on with the film. I just want to know what. And every time someone is questioned about the whole Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield thing, they give kind of walk around answers. Like, they don't just say, "Oh no, that's not what we're doing." They say, I can't really say anything about that. Like, in fact, last week, Jamie Foxx was asked about the movie. He was like, so are you happy about being in Spider-Man 3? And Jamie's response was something like, I don't know if I am in the movie. I can't really say if I am in the movie. If I am in the movie, then that's great, but I can't really talk about it.
He's terrible at stuff like that.
Yeah,
he's so bad at stuff
what does that even mean?
Exactly. Like, he's definitely in the movie. He's not allowed to talk about the movie, and he just fucked it up. It's like when he did the first interview for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he's like, "Can I tell them a secret?" Like, this is it. It's like exactly what it does this year. Can I tell the secret about my character? His mom forgets his birthday. And it's like he makes this whole big deal. I'm like, shut up. Like, shut the fuck up. Just be Electro. Like, stop being an asshole. Like, I just hate the way he does stuff like that in interviews. It's not the first time, probably won't be the last time. Just be cool.
Jamie's an awesome actor. It's just he wasn't good as Electro. Let's just be honest. Like, he wasn't good as Electro. And I think what happened was that when he made that announcement, when that leak came out that he was in the movie.
Yeah, that he wasn't even supposed to do.
Yeah, no, that exactly, Matt. He posted on Twitter, on Instagram or whatever. He posted, "I'm excited to be in the movie," and he posted a picture of
all three Spider-Man.
And then he deleted it right away.
Here's my question, though. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go for it. Yeah.
Where the fuck did he get that picture from? Like, who trusted Jamie Foxx with that picture that they were like, "All right, whatever, don't post this. Keep it. Keep it on your phone, but don't post it." Like, where the hell did he get that?
That's a valid point.
You know, like they just find a fan clip online and then post it, and literally it didn't occur to him at any point that this might have been a secret. Like,
well, yeah, and that's why Matt made a great point just now. That's why, you know, look, these actors know the game, okay? And Jamie Foxx is a veteran at this point. He's been in the game a long time. He knows how this stuff works. The conspiracy theorist in me feels that Sony or his agent told him, go on social media, post this, see what kind of reaction you get, but then delete it right away, you know, and then deny everything after that, just to take everyone's pulse. Because Jamie's not an idiot, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is he going to get the job, right? And be like, oh, I'm going to post this picture of this obvious big spoiler about the movie, you know what I'm saying, and say I'm excited, and then delete it. It doesn't add up to me.
Doesn't make any sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll find out. And like I said, hopefully they at least explain how the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, and
it's probably gonna be something where he tries to fix it and ends up breaking the multiverse, but like I'm not happy about it.
It might be pre-broken though from you know, into the whatever.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. That would kind of make sense.
So Marvel finally got the rights back for Daredevil, which how cool would it be if he was his lawyer, right? They have Charlie Cox as the lawyer. That'd be awesome.
This is like one of those times where I just wish the internet didn't exist for a little bit. So like we didn't constantly get like this person's in the movie. Like I would love to just go into something totally clean and be shocked when a character shows up.
So I'm assuming that the Multiverse of Madness is slated before the new Spider-Man movie.
I think
so.
That's a good question.
I think it's got to be coming pretty soon because I think it ties in directly after the
WandaVision.
Thank you, WandaVision.
Yeah,
WandaVision's January 15th.
Yeah, sometime in January. Yeah,
that'll be that should be interesting to see how they do with that. I mean,
oh shit! It says it's a 2020 film. That can't be right.
What is
Doctor Strange? Oh no, it's March 25th, 2022. We got some time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's Doctor Strange too. So
I think that got pushed back though because of everything.
COVID. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the next Spider-Man movie's got to be late 2022.
Actually, no. I think it's. Matt said that. I think it's coming out before Doctor Strange.
Fucking Sony.
What?
I blame Sony. I don't care. Sony's fault.
Know, isn't he doing the Uncharted? So doesn't he have to do that contractually first?
No, he finished it. He finished Uncharted.
Oh, that's finished.
They finished recording that already.
Yeah,
recording.
He literally went straight from the Uncharted set to Spider-Man.
It's not like you had to get in or out of shape for it. So yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I didn't peg him as Nathan Drake. I'm interested to see how that works.
I liked the outfit because I was like, oh, that's a Nathan Drake outfit.
Yep.
And then you see Tom Holland, I'm like, you're like 20 years too young.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Agreed.
Like I know they're trying to do like a hard prequel, and Dave, I'm assuming you played the games, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think the third one you play as him when he's young, but he's like real young. He's like 12 young.
Yeah. He was escaping the house he grew up in or the
that's the fourth one. That's the fourth one. And then you're right. And then he's trying to steal something in like the wherever he is, and then that's when he meets Sully. Sully?
Yeah. Sully helps him out. Yeah,
for the first time. So yeah, I think he looks too young too. I think that they should have just taken the guy. They showed a picture. I forget the actor's name. There's an actor that looks exactly.
Nathan
Fillion. Is that it is?
Probably.
Yeah, he looks exactly like him.
Yeah,
like to the T.
Perfect. Like I don't know what they were thinking. And people love Nathan Fillion. Like he would bring his own audience.
And he's funny.
I would 100% watch it for him, hands down. There's he did a short for it. I think the Uncharted team even wrote it. It's on
shit.
You find it.
I heard about that. Yeah.
He played Nathan Drake in it. It was awesome.
I don't get why they fucking do that. It's so fucking frustrating when they botch casting calls.
Yeah.
Bad video game movie in the making.
I know. You know what it is? It's just like one of those. I guess they're probably assuming that Tom Holland's gonna be connected to this and try to make him like Indiana Jones. I've heard, but
I mean that would be the smartest thing to do. Like leverage his.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford wasn't 23 in Indiana Jones. He had
Harrison Ford was like 40.
Right.
Harrison Ford was actually like pretty old when he did Star Wars too. He was just a carpenter on the set, if I'm not mistaken. Actually.
Yeah, and he was talking to shit that he could do the scene better, and they're like, all right, go fucking do it. And he sat there and did it, and then they're like,
pretty fucking amazing.
You're fired.
Oh, wow.
You're in.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, he was like behind. He was like behind
his career.
Yeah, he was just like behind scenes, and They were filming the scene when he's in the bar and the guy's like sitting there, and I guess Harrison Ford was like, "This guy's fucking terrible." And I guess Steven Spielberg did that, right? No, George Lucas.
George Lucas, yeah. And they combined for Indiana Jones. But here I am fucking working on websites. Harrison Ford's out there saying random shit, just talking shit on movie sets, getting jobs. Starting $1 million careers.
Yep. They literally said, "Go sit down and film it." They filmed him and they fired the other guy on the spot. Said, "You're in." So it's a good way to do it.
I didn't know that. Oh, interesting.
Learn something new every day. But once again, this is Why Am I Nervous and Comics. You can follow us on Instagram at Why Am I Nerd Official, Facebook.com/Why Am I Nerd. Listen to new issues every Tuesday on YouTube and your favorite podcast service. Looking for some video game talk? Listen every Monday to Why Am I Nerd's flagship video game podcast, Alpha Beta Gold, where I, myself, Cameron James, Jason, Justin, and just Matt talk about none other than video games. If you're looking for a video games nude podcast, however, this is definitely not for you. But if you're looking for some honest, no bullshit opinions of the video game industry, check it out. Last but not least, don't forget to tune in every Wednesday to Why Am I Nerds 4th and 1, where Matt, Sean, and Anthony get together to talk all things sports. Whether you're a diehard New York Giants fan, play fantasy football, or just looking for some weekly recaps from the sports world, these guys got you covered. Sorry, jocks. We are once again officially claiming you a fucking nerd. So today we have a different bit of a show. We're already 30 minutes in anyway, but who the fuck cares? And we actually only have one Planet Bugle article today because we're going to be just making our own fucking DC comics. And this kind of leads in perfectly because we've been talking about this for the past month about DC possibly shutting down. And Matt, if you want to take this article from Cosmic Book News, it kind of just makes the entire situation even more fucked up.
AT&T predicted to sell off Warner Media and DC Comics. It's predicted that AT&T may sell off Warner Media at some point, which could include DC Comics that is owned by the company. AT&T is the parent owner of Warner Media, with Warner Media including, I'm skipping that part because it's just giving background on stuff. The article basically pits those for and those against what AT&T and Warner Media are doing with its HBO Max streaming service. And it should be noted, the article includes sources from within Warner Brothers who do not like what is happening, and some of whom are former employees.
Yeah, if you continue to follow all the way down underneath the future state photo here, it just reiterates that the rumors of DC Comics closing. This isn't the first time we've heard about the AT&T potentially selling off its DC Comics brand, as former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver has pointed out on many occasions that it could happen. Sciver pointed to an article published last year by Barron's that was regarding the hedge fund Elliott Management having disclosed a whopping $3.2 billion stake at AT&T, who offered they weren't happy with the performance of the AT&T stock and called on AT&T to streamline the organization, removing pretty much
redundant positions and consider outsourcing non-core functions. Damn, bro, like that shit's deep.
I mean, here's my theory. So hypothetically, this isn't the theory. This is like a weird state. Disney seems to be on a roll of buying everything.
Oh wow,
You know where I'm going with this, right?
Technically count as a monopoly if they did.
But they're buying Warner Brothers. They're not buying DC directly.
But I mean, like, it would actually be an entertainment monopoly. Like, based upon the antitrust laws and my limited knowledge of them, I think they would have too large of a market share of actual media companies and holdings and stuff like that. Like, they would literally be the world. Like, it would be them and Amazon and, like, Apple and Google running fucking life.
Well, they already do. But I mean, I don't know if them buying Warner Brothers would do that. Like with Fox, the reason they couldn't get all of the sports channels was because of that. Like they had to drop like half of them because otherwise they'd have a monopoly on all of the sports channels. And like they were like, no, you can't do this. I don't know if that counts though, as far as like if they acquire Warner Brothers or if they would acquire Warner Brothers, right? It's really they would get out their movies. Right. I mean, what other big studios? Isn't MGM still out there? Right. There's
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate. Yeah.
Well, the article gets really weird too. If you continue to read it, where it says AT&T may either close down or sell DC Comics. The characters, at least the popular ones like Batman and Superman, will carry on in some form as it's like as it's likely, if not sold off completely, the popular characters will be licensed to other companies for publishing, while AT&T will still remain the rights for movies, TV, and video games.
Which do make money, huh?
Yeah, but Disney would never do that. After now them reacquiring everything back from the Marvel licensing for like the Netflix shows and everything before Disney really took over, there's no way they'll turn around and do like the. I mean, I'm surprised honestly that the Spider-Man Sony thing is still.
I'm surprised they haven't just bought Sony outright at this point. Like if I'm Disney, I'm like, stop fucking around. We're just gonna buy you, and like you're just in the family now. Sit down and shut up. Fucking Amy Pascal, just sit down and shut up. I don't know if it's still her in charge for whatever.
Who could stop Disney? Again, this is hypothetical. If Disney was like, hey, I'll buy it.
I mean, who could stop them? Like maybe actual Superman.
Like, is there? Do you really think that the law would get? You think like lawyers? And all that shit?
There's definitely gonna be a ton of lawyers involved. I would imagine if I was another major studio, I'm pooling in with the other major studios to have someone take a look at the legality of that, because that's a huge. I mean, that's a huge mountain to overcome. That's literal Goliath. You know, to try and beat if you want to release a movie or a comic book property at any point.
I mean, think about it, because Disney bought Marvel, so it wouldn't be like Marvel was buying DC though. Even if
it's still one company owning everything,
right? But what if Disney bought the comic rights, and then then what? Like, do you rebrand DC and Marvel? And
like you have the Justice League and the Avengers together? I don't know if I could picture that world. I would hope they kept the property separate. Honestly, I really would, because I feel like it would get way too muddy. Like I don't want to see the Flash teaming up with Spider-Man, or like Thor and Batman trying to solve a Norse mystery in fucking Gotham. Like there's certain things that just don't quite need together that are fun to think about sometimes, but it takes away a little bit if they're just all in the same place.
It would give them the opportunity to do every now and then.
But I mean, like I'd still just rather they don't.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think about this?
I think it falls back into the same way when Disney was, all of their stuff was licensed to Fox basically for all of like the Fantastic Four and all those extra movies, right? Disney turned around after they bought Marvel and they're like, yeah, we're going to stop creating comics for those characters because we don't own the rights to their movies and everything. So you guys can go to hell. Good luck figuring it out. And then they basically branded everything from mutants because Fox had the right to the mutants. Everyone's Inhuman. You have a special power, you're an Inhuman now. Fuck Fox. That's it. It's game over. So I can't imagine like Disney would ever put themselves in another scenario where they don't have the full controlling right to everything. Now, if like Warner Brothers was like, or AT&T were like, we don't want it, knock yourselves out, do everything, you can take it all. I could see them doing it. I could definitely see them taking it. And I think they would be smart enough to keep it separate, but do like world crossover events that would bring everyone together.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is obviously they're not bringing Star Wars and Marvel together. Let's be honest. Like, you're not going to get some Jedi just showing up somewhere.
I think that might have happened.
What?
That doesn't sound.
No. You're thinking, what was it? Like Indiana Jones, like showing up on like a planet, like a reference to Indiana Jones and Star Wars, and then vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking.
It's all fan fiction. Okay, yeah, it might have been a fan fiction I saw. Never mind. Sorry.
I mean, nobody stopped the thing about it, nobody stopped Disney from buying Lucasfilms and LucasArts. You know, they were a big player. They were like one of the big things, and no one even hesitated at that. It was just like, hey, DC bought fucking Star Wars, and it wasn't Disney, and it
Marvel.
wasn't even
Disney. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like they announced it as in like Disney bought Lucasfilms or LucasArts. It was just like Disney bought Star Wars. It's like there's nothing else to it. You know, it was just, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't. To me, as a businessman, you know, I don't see DC just dying. Like, obviously, it's a property that.
Hold on, real quick side note here. Sorry to cut you off. I was curious after you said that. So the top 10 highest grossing movies all time. I just opened the list. I'm willing to bet they're all Disney properties. Number 10 is Black Panther. Number 9 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 8 is Furious 7, so that's Universal, so they'd still be standing on their own. Number 7 is the original Avengers, 2012. 6 is Jurassic World, also Universal. 5 is Infinity War. 4 is Star Wars Force Awakens. 3 is Titanic, which is owned by Fox, which is technically Disney. 2 is Avatar, Fox, technically Disney. And 1 is Endgame, which is Disney. So Universal has 2 movies in there, and one of them is Furious 7, which shouldn't count.
Damn, so, the Dark Knight got the boot on that list?
Come on, dude.
What's going on in this world?
Come on.
That was like number 2 for a long ass time until that bitch ass Marvel bubblegum shit started getting produced. But yeah, I mean, now that you say like there is Universal still, like they could.
Yeah, Universal could throw their hat in there and shit. Universal should buy DC. I'd love to see that. Although, what would that mean? Wait, hold on. If this happened, because like Six Flags,
let's be honest, it's gonna happen.
No, I'm saying Six Flags they at least have a deal with DC, right? Because like all their characters are at the parks. Would that mean that in some way all the Six Flags then become Disney theme parks if Disney did buy them?
I mean, those are some small ass Disney theme parks.
I mean, they'd be pretty shitty. Like, there's a reason no one goes to Six Flags anymore.
Or you would just rename it. Like they have Nintendo World in Japan, or what the fuck that is. Now you have Nickelodeon.
Sick.
Now you have Nickelodeon.
If they just did like, well, imagine if they just rebranded each. Well, hold on. First of all, we're getting off topic, and I apologize about this. But I've said for the longest, if I ran Six Flags because they've been losing money and stuff, I'm taking each theme park and I'm rebranding it as a different city in Westeros, and I'm just making Game of Thrones theme parks because people would fucking love that.
No,
people would 100%.
Anyway,
someone was excited about my idea.
I don't know what was happening in the other room. But anyway, I mean, Universal could come and try to sweep it in. I really don't. The only people that could possibly do this would be Universal or Disney. I mean, there's really nobody else. I know, Dave. I think you said MGM, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what do they even put out now.
They got that line in the beginning,
That's it. That's going off of logos. Like, I don't remember the last thing that they put out.
Yeah, I mean, if I think that the benefit of Disney getting the
shit, 007 and the Creed movies.
What?
And Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Oh, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Yeah.
How is that? Bill and Ted look at all these. 007 doesn't count. Fucking Creed and Rocky don't count. Bill and Ted's look at everyone.
That's MGM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're big enough for.
No.
It would have to be Disney or Universal. And then in that point, thing, like I said, the only thing that would benefit from Disney getting the DC movies, or I guess DC would benefit from Disney, is their movies are better than Disney's movies. It's, we've said this before, it's like without a doubt. But in a sense of like Comic Land, it would be a whole different ballgame. And like you said, Dave, if Disney was to buy it, they'd be just buying the entire thing. And this article kind of makes it seem like they'd be okay with keeping it as a movie standpoint, but who the fuck's like, hey, we'll sell you the comics, but you can't use them in movies, video games, or TV shows. So
yeah, it makes no sense.
I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward. But so this week we're doing something just kind of following this. Is that
how do you want to explain this? Basically, what's happening is when this news about DC first broke, it kind of gave us the idea that, well, we could probably, because we're looking at like how bad the comics for DC have been, and we're like, we could do it better.
Whoa.
Am I wrong?
The Black Label stuff is
comics great?
No, the Black Label stuff is really good.
Right, but that's not their mainstream line. And the whole conversation was we could do a better job writing their mainstream comics than they could, and we could have it all fit continuity and flow together very well.
No, we said movies, didn't we?
No, we said no. We're talking about the comics the whole time, and then we have to cross over. I'm 100% sure.
Well, I didn't follow these rules.
How?
What?
You were literally there for the conversation. I mean, I'm going to go back to our text message right now.
Well, my rules are different, or not my rules. My things were a little different, but sure. I didn't know we were doing an end thing. I thought we were just.
Monday, November 23rd, 8:57 p.m. Gentlemen, I'm texting you live from the show right now. We have an idea. Since DC Comics is shutting down, so we're suggesting that the four of us come up with a storyline for their four biggest characters.
Yeah.
We each come on the show next week with the general outline of an arc for each of those characters, and then we work together to build everything out.
I was on the show recording.
Whatever. Just work your idea into. Just pretend it's a comic instead of a movie.
Okay. Well, my ideas, all my ideas are fucking way out. My ideas will not tie into anything. So whatever. I mean, somebody else can go first.
All right. Well, we're still gonna hear it. I was gonna say my Batman and Superman ideas tie into each other. So I'd like to go in between. When we end Batman, I'll be the end of Batman. Then I'll be the start of Superman too.
What's everyone's random character? Or am I the only one that wrote here, Flash is a bitch, I'm not doing it?
I mean, I could probably think of good stories for Flash or Wonder Woman. I think I have some ideas.
So you didn't do your homework either?
I did my homework. I have Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, which I literally have 3 words, and I wrote Flash is a bitch. I'm not doing that.
He's a bitch.
No, it says Flash is a bitch. I'm picking Deathstroke instead.
Okay.
So I have a question. So these stories are like
they're just ideas.
They're just ideas because we're saying we can do a better job at writing comics than the DC Comics writers.
But the stories in question, these are what kind of stories? These are stories.
Okay, so no, like for example, so my idea for
Give
Batman.
me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Oh, you just ruined my moment. What are you doing? Now you're muting. Fucking dog. Yep. So everyone's on different fucking planes here. I think he was under the impression that we were gonna write.
I let the dog in.
I think he was under the impression we were gonna write like a Batman arc ties into Wonder Woman ties into Superman.
No.
Okay, let me explain my Batman thing. Because it's so fucking out. It's so fucking out there that it doesn't really fucking matter. But it is kind of intriguing, and I think it could be interesting concept. So I'm saying that Batman, and I'm rewriting it. Like I'm actually modifying the fucking origin story where Batman gets the Star Wars treatment. So my theory is that the whole Crime Alley thing happens. Batman's parents get shot, quote, quote. So Bruce is getting trained by the League of Assassins, which he does, who takes him in to train him. But his father actually isn't dead and is getting trained by the Court of Owls because in the Court of Owls, Alan Wayne actually was someone Alan Wayne, the grandfather, go way back.
Oh, gotcha,
way back,
gotcha.
is one of the people that has funded Gotham City, and the Court of Owls live off of the trust fund from Alan Wayne. This is actually real in the stories. So my thing was what if, they're both still alive and neither of them know. Well, Thomas Wayne knows Bruce is alive, but Bruce has no idea that his dad's alive. So just like an Empire Strikes Back, when he's like they're fighting and he's like Bruce, I'm your father. Luke, I'm your father. It's the same thing. The only person that's actually dead is his mother. Is actually get shot. So you have
will work as a comic book.
That's what I'm saying, because the Court of Owls and League of Assassins don't get along anyway. So it's like, how do you make it more of a interesting story? And then Ra's al Ghul ends up becoming more of the fatherly figure to Bruce. Obviously, he kind of is in the training aspect of things as it is. And then I don't remember the Talon. I don't remember who the Talon is in the book. I think they change. I think the Talon constantly changes just who's the biggest. But the Talon here would essentially be Thomas Wayne.
Okay, I like that. And now here's the caveat that I probably should mention earlier. So what we're going to do is we're each going to present one of our ideas for each character, and then we're going to vote on which one works, and then we're going to build like the event story based out of that. Does that make sense? And it nothing has to be completed. It's just the general idea.
Okay. I don't think any of us did that, but okay.
Dave, did you do that?
Hell no.
See, told you.
Dave is
I think
but you got the idea, but you're winging it. Okay,
see, I
can live with that.
I think we were all under the impression we were just going to make pick a Batman story and then be like, oh, this is cool. How would we finish this? And just write that, and then be like,
basically,
yeah. But there's no event.
So we can skip the event.
I would say skip the event because my
year for every comic book company, there's an event. You know what I mean?
My Deathstroke, my fucking Wonder Woman concept doesn't fit in the goddamn thing. So there's no fucking way it's fitting into this unless there's time travel.
I mean, there can be.
All right.
But you need Flash.
Pump the brakes. Fuck Flash, you bitch. Who wants to go next?
All right. Well, if nobody else is ready, I'll go next. If you guys want a couple more seconds to think things over. So my Batman story is actually tied in with the Superman story, and I love this fucking idea. I think it's really cool. So if you guys don't like it, right there. But so there's Batman and Superman are working together to solve some kind of case, whatever. And in doing so, Superman's powers get imbued into Batman. So like they're like, all right, whatever. Batman's like, I'm going to use your powers, like fix this, and then we'll switch him back. But something happens, and he has to go off to Gotham before they can switch back, and he realizes, wait, with all this power, I can fix everything that I need to fix. Like I can be a better Superman than Clark ever was, and so he becomes like the Dark Knight, but he's the super Dark Knight. He's crazy powerful. No one can stop him. His villains are powerless against him. Like he completely reshapes Gotham and the world, but he does it, with a little bit more of a Batman style, and there's a little bit more of a fear element. And then Superman, by that same tone, is left to kind of figure out where he stands in the world, what he can do, and he's using stuff from Star Labs to try and be a makeshift hero. But Batman's more and more becoming like the ruler of the world, because he's like, everything fits in line with my image. It has to be this way. Not only do I have the brains, but I have the brawn and the infinite power to back it up.
See, I like that idea a lot. I would take it a slightly different step, though. And when, let's say, Batman starts using Superman's powers, realizes he can't control it, accidentally kills someone. Ooh. Like the Joker or one of the villains, where you're like, oh, you broke your rule 100% accidentally. How are you going to recover from this? And then that's when his sanity just like starts to snap. And then that's how Batman basically takes over the rest of the world.
I like that. And this is the kind of thing I was hoping we'd have happen here. I like that a lot, because this is what should be happening in the DC Comics rooms that clearly just isn't. But sorry, Kyle, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So it sounds like you're kind of approaching an injustice.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Similar, but like, it's Batman instead. So you've got, because even if the other heroes band together to try and stop Batman, what the fuck? He's got files on all of you on how to beat all of you, and now he's got Superman's powers. There's shit you can do.
Gotcha. Okay, I dig it though. I think that's a great what if story like that which honestly I think that's what DC does best. At the end of that, their best stories are their what if stuff. Like
the stuff that's kind of out there.
What if this happened? What if you took this approach to Batman or Superman or the Justice League or whatever? I think that's their best stuff. I mean, I've had an idea for Wonder Woman.
What about your Batman idea?
well, I know. I'm saying I'm trying to see if I can pivot that into that Batman.
Okay.
Into your idea. So Batman is okay. So Batman's got Superman's powers. He's slowly losing his sanity. That puts him on a collision course, of course, with Diana, I would think.
Probably the only person who could really maybe take him down at that point.
Maybe we could take it a step further and say that at that point, or in this story, Batman and Diana are they're a thing. They're an item. They're seeing each other, whatever. She sees Batman's descended to madness. She tries to, she's worrying about him. She tries to stop him, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe at least to like kind of like a war between those two, where Diana's like, Bruce, you're losing it. You have all this power. You can't handle this. And Batman is like, listen, Diana, don't tell me what I can do.
It's like, fuck you and your rope.
Fuck you and your damn rope, Diana. That's all you got. How's that for the truth, bitch? And then well, this is wild. I don't know if this is the direction you wanted to go in. If you're, because if your intention was to show that Batman can handle the power, that absolute power corrupts absolutely, then
I see what you did there.
Then he goes down a path of madness. He's like, you know what, Diana? So basically, they get into this very tense war between the two of them. So Batman's like, all right, it's like that, huh? Maybe she fucks him up one day. He's like, all right, it's like that, huh? You think you know so much better than me, and you've been secluded. You and your little secluded island of Amazonia at Themyscira. You think you know better than me. So Batman finds a way to wipe out Themyscira altogether. He just wipes it. He just wipes them off the face of. Where is Themyscira? Is it on the planet?
Greece or something? I really have no fucking clue.
I never understood. Are they on the planet technically, or
no, it's on Earth. It's just somewhere else. It's just like it's a hidden island. It's shrouded in bullshit. I mean, that's
yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. So Batman wipes out. So Batman wipes out Themyscira. Completely, but it's a mystery though. Like Diana doesn't know Batman did it. He just Batman. I don't know. Maybe he configures a satellite, one of Wayne Tech's satellites, and then he just nukes it. Just straight up nukes it, and then
you're turning fucking Batman to the goddamn Homelander. I'm out on this idea. I'm out.
Well, my whole thing is it'd be interesting to see Batman with true power, and then he's still got his brilliant mind on top of it.
Whoa, hold on. I've heard you on record say it is not right to ever give Batman power, and now you're giving him power.
When did I say that?
When I said something like, "Oh, what if Batman had the Green Lantern ring?" You're like, "Oh, it's stupid. Batman's not supposed to have power."
No, Batman wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it. This is something where he gets Superman's powers by accident. He's like, "Wait, this is actually kind of good."
Like the change up when they piss each other.
Batman has, basically. But Batman's rejected I think he's rejected all of the Lantern rings at one point or another because he's like the only person I think outside of Greed that he could have all the rings. I think Greed's the only one he wouldn't get. To be 100% honest,
I don't know. I don't know that aspect of. I don't know much about Batman and the Green Lantern.
Well, I'm saying Batman's got will, he's got rage, he's got I guess he loves Gotham. I'm trying to think what the other ones are. Like he was dead once, he was alive once.
He wasn't really dead.
He was dead enough. I mean, it was a clone of him. Whatever, it fucking counts. He's hope. He represents hope to a lot of people. Like he does kind of fulfill a lot of the different Green Lantern or Lantern Corps bullshit.
No, I think the idea is clever. I just, as a Batman fan, don't like him having powers. So that would be
that's what makes it unique. Like, this is a different, and it'd be a new figure for you to buy it, add to your collection. The background.
I wouldn't buy it.
You 100%.
I would not buy it. Because I don't buy Superman's fucking. I would buy a Grim Knight figure in a second because I think the Grim Knight is.
What's the difference? It's an alternate version of Batman.
Right. So you're saying you're doing but the
Kryptonian Knight.
No one wants a fucking Kryptonian Knight.
Kryptonian Knight.
At least the Grim Knight looks like the fucking goddamn Punisher on steroids.
The Punisher looks like the Punisher on steroids.
Yeah, but the Grim Knight is a badass fucking version of which I don't understand why he literally shows up in one book. And then
he's just the Punisher. Like that's really all he is. Like the Grim Knight and the Punisher are the same person.
Yes, and it's awesome. But I like both those characters, so it's fair. So I don't. So where are we going with this? I don't really understand what the fuck we're doing here.
Well, no. So now
we know what we're doing. I still have no idea what we're doing.
We're just watching this right now. Like, thank God you keep on writing our books.
Oh God.
I mean, the only thing I ever thought too, which I don't think Deathstroke gets enough credit. I think in DC's, I think it was the Unkillable story, is when Deathstroke gets together with all the villains and they go into I think they go into a school and they find a bunch of kids obviously in there, and Deathstroke pretty much becomes this fatherly figure to all the kids, and this is actually in the book. And he trains them all. And I was reading, I was like, yo, imagine Deathstroke just took and again, all my ideas were just a knockoff of something else of being hey, what if you got this treatment? Like Leon the Professional, I'm sure we've all seen that movie. Imagine Deathstroke just walking around with a kid. Like Deathstroke
Just like
hates
training
everybody.
the kid constantly.
But in Leon the Professional, he doesn't really train the kid. He kind of finds the kid as like an annoyance. He's like, fuck, like this goddamn girl's like following me around everywhere over some spilt milk.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, what if, and when I saw how they did it in the Unkillables, which is probably one of my favorite little arcs I've read in a really, really super long time, I was like, yo, that'd be kind of cool if you just like gave Deathstroke a fucking like 12-year-old kid and the kid's like, what are you doing? Like, help. And I don't know, I just thought that would be originally I thought about it with Red Hood, but I was like, Red Hood doesn't have that like fucking like. Slade's kind of like a smart ass.
Red Hood's not good enough.
No, Red Hood's like
makes sense.
He doesn't have a personality. He's too fucking miserable.
Yeah, he's just mad that Joker killed him. But he's also not like good enough at being an assassin. Like Deathstroke is the best there is. To quote Wolverine, he's the best there is at what he does. So it makes more sense to see Deathstroke do that because there'd be less mistakes. You know what I mean? Whereas Red Hood would just be like, use these guns, shoot that, be angry.
I mean, and I think they need to take Deathstroke and put him onto the Black Label. I'm shocked
he's not. Yeah.
I am too. I think they really need to pull him away from the regular comic books. I think that he's a character that's underutilized, and I think he could be a lot of, essentially he's. Like, I know everyone compares Batman and Moon Knight, but he's kind of like a Moon Knight character a little bit. Like, he doesn't have, what is his powers? I know he has some bullshit like healing factor or something.
Yeah, he does. Hang on, I'll look it up. But while I'm looking that up, Dave, what do you got for us?
That's a good question. Why don't we circle back around another time?
All right. Well, does anybody else have any other ideas? If not, I can throw one of mine in.
I mean, the only one I had thought about was I said that they should take, and it happens in, they didn't capitalize. I've said this to you before, Matt. They didn't capitalize in Wonder Woman, Blood and something and Blood. The movie. What the fuck was the movie called? She fights,
I didn't see that one.
She fights
sorry,
like.
My bad.
No, I thought you were pulling the movie.
No. Deathstroke has enhanced intelligence, strength, agility, durability, stamina, and reflexes. He's a skilled swordsman, marksman, and hand-to-hand combatant, and he has an enhanced healing factor.
Yes, I was close to the healing factor. But in it was called Wonder Woman Bloodline. She fights Medusa at the end, and I'm like, yo, why don't you just bring fucking Greek mythology into fucking Wonder Woman?
That's what I had going to.
Really?
They kind of do, but I don't think they go full into it. They absolutely should, like Zeus and
like fully commit to it though. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of times when it's, and we've talked about this with movies mostly because comics obviously in paper and it looks they can do what the fuck they want with it. Like the movies sometimes don't fully commit to like the character design, which drives me fucking insane. I say this all the goddamn fucking time, and I feel like if you were going to do that with like Wonder Woman, like really the Greek mythology, like you really have to commit to it, and you're also bringing her back to whatever the fucking Greek mythology of her is.
Yeah, but they had who was it, Ares, the God of War, in her movie, and like it was a cool design until they should like closed up the dude's face, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you're not a God of War. It was a mistake. We should have stayed very far away from you.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, just going back to some of my like the only really idea I ever came up with for this was like, I don't know, I love Batman, but I also just want to see like I want Gotham to be completely done, like not gone, not missing. Like there's no more crime. Everyone solved their problems, and Batman now no longer has a purpose in that city, and just to kind of like figure out what his life is now. He's all about protecting his city, and yes, obviously he does go around the world and does everything and helps other people, but Gotham's fine. He did it.
I think he purposely doesn't finish it.
I think so too.
Like
I just want that to like just to see what happens. You know?
There's like for some reason like he just doesn't. It's like he finds like his sport. Like he genuinely, I don't think wants to ever. Like for someone that's like. Let the Joker out so many fucking times, or freeze out, or Quinn, anybody. He's just like, all right, they're out again. Here we go. Like whatever, no big deal. I'll just get stabbed like 30 fucking times. The closest thing I've seen to like really like saying to Bruce like, hey, you suck at your job. Let me do this. Is the new character Ghostmaker that they came up with in the comics. who is someone that he used to train with when they were younger, and they became friends. And I don't think they announced who his name is yet, but he pretty much like him and Bruce are talking. Bruce is like, hey, we're like both in the same here for the same reasons. Like, my parents were killed, and I'm doing it for them. I want vengeance for them. And the guy that's Ghostmaker's like, you're a bitch. You don't do this for vengeance. You don't do this because you care about people. You do this because it just needs to get fucking done. You're too weak for this job. And then he shows up at Gotham, and he's like, you can't clean the city up, and you won't. He pretty much tells him, you won't clean the city up, and you won't do it. So I'm going to fucking do it for you. And he like stabs him like 30,000 times. And then he pretty much there's a new character. Besides Punchline, they introduced this guy called the Clown Hunter, who's like this kid who watched Joker and Harley Quinn kill his parents. Ironic. And Bruce is kidnapped by it's Bruce, Harley Quinn, and the Ghost Hunter. They're all like tied down, and Ghostmaker releases only the Clown Hunter, and pretty much says like to Bruce, like, I'm going to show you how this needs to get done. And he gives Clown Hunter the Sith, like a saber, whatever it is. And the comic ends with him pretty much putting the sword to Quinn's throat, and it's like, this is how it needs to be from now on. And you don't know if he like decapitates her or not, or slits her throat, but he's a pretty interesting character that they brought in, and it brings to the point of like you were saying, Dave, where like he pretty much calls his ass out and says like, you don't want this to end, so I'll fucking do it for you.
Yeah, see, I like that. I could definitely get behind a comic like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I feel like, especially for him, out of everyone, like it's like, oh no, someone got out of Gotham or like Arkham again. Dude,
maybe just kill him. Yeah.
Not, you know what? Put him in a different city. Let someone else kill him if you feel bad, right? Like drop him in fucking Oliver City. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, they never
failed the city.
they've never really capitalized too on like the Flashpoint version of Batman with Thomas Wayne.
I think because it needed to be left there. I mean, he couldn't murder. I think that would do a lot to Batman's psyche to have his father there blatantly killing people. Like that would fuck him up pretty bad.
No, because in the Flashpoint version, he's dead.
No, I know. Never mind. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying to bring that like mainstream, to bring Thomas Wayne into the mainstream DC like universe.
No. I'm saying like in the Flashpoint series where Bruce is dead and Martha is the Joker. They never, and that's kind of. I mean, I guess that version of Batman, Thomas Wayne is, I guess he's similar to the Grim Knight too, but the Grim Knight is just more. I think the Grim Knight is considered Bruce. I don't remember. They really.
I think the Grim Knight is actually Bruce. Yeah,
it is, right?
Yeah,
he just has fucking carries rocket launchers and AK-47s around them the entire time.
Which why anyone's committing crime in that city at that point, I have no idea. Like
what?
Be honest, even Batman running around the city, like, oh my God, there's a dude in a bat suit literally beats the shit out of people. Like, I'm not robbing.
Just breaks your arm, like, beats you to submission, like, tell me where everyone else is. Like, ow, like, can I have some drugs, please? Like, like, can't feel my body. I think might be paralyzed.
I think the big problem too with like just comics in general, and with what like Marvel runs into and DC runs into more than like, like IDW, unless you're fucking what? Who does it? Unless you're Dynamite. There's like 30, there's like 4 or 5 stories of the same character going on, and they're not linked up. When you're like, yo, you're reading new Batman? And I was like, yeah, but yada, yada, yada. And you're like, the fuck are you reading? Like, I'm not reading that. I'm reading this. And it's like, what are you reading? It's like there's too much going on. That's why even with the Black Label, they had put out Batman Damned, and I think they put out The Last Night on Earth at the same fucking time. And it's like you're telling 2 polar opposite Batman stories at the same fucking time. I don't understand why they don't just end one and then be like, hey, here's another story.
Well, sorry.
No, like even Marvel does it too. Like we said before, like right now with Spider-Man, you have Spider-Man, then you have like Amazing Spider-Man, they have Spider-Man L and like Spider-Man LR. It's like,
like
I don't understand why they can't just, And I guess it's just because they have the property and the name is so common. But, there's not like 30 different Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going on or 30 different fucking.
But that was part of the rationale behind this actual segment was we were supposed to come with different ideas and then pick one. And it was like we were the actual like writing room for one of these companies and like saying we could do it better.
Well, we all just got fired.
I didn't. I still have a job.
Oh, you got fired too.
What are you talking about? My idea is great.
Didn't they also just on a quick side thing? And didn't they just announce someone taking over like as a head of like DC Comics again?
Jim Lee is leaving.
I think he's leaving.
I thought he was leaving.
That's been rumored. That's been rumored for a while.
Yeah, I think Jim's happy.
People.
Well, Jim's doing a lot of other things. I think he's involved with the movie segments.
He's not doing great there.
He just started. Like it just would have just happened. He wasn't always
gotcha.
Involved. But
Jim Lee is leaving. That is true.
Oh, he is. He's leaving DC Comics.
Yeah, which is surprising because I thought didn't he only just get like hired there last year or the year before?
He's relatively new. I thought
to DC Comics.
As like a head honcho, like he was like running the show.
He wasn't the head honcho, but he's been heavily instrumental to DC publishing for, I think, since the New 52. Honestly, I think, as a matter of fact, I think that's how the New 52 started. It was when I think Jeff Johns got promoted. Him and Jeff Johns got promoted, and they were just running the show. That was when the New 52 started and everything. And then Jim kind of just grew from there. And stuff. So,
I mean, again, and with DC, like there's so many rumors about this new DC 5G shit that's supposed to be coming out now, and it's like we were talking to, that's why I don't see DC Comics going anywhere. But we were talking to the guy at the Comic Relief, and I was like, hey, I was like, what I thought was weird was they did this Suicide Squad Rebirth, and then they ended the Suicide Squad Rebirth with like issue 50. And they redid the Suicide Squad Rebirth, but they didn't call it the Suicide Squad Rebirth. But they eventually took the Rebirth part off of the original one. So you were like, hey, I have this. And that drives me nuts. It's like, hey, I got Suicide Squad 11. Well, is it from the original 50 comics or is it from the fucking current ongoing 50 comics? And they do such a fucking bad job doing that.
Yeah, it's that's honestly the problem with comics in general, which you touched on earlier, Cam. You honestly zeroed in on the problem in the comics industry, I think, as a whole. It's just too convoluted, man. And I think people want to read these things. There's just too much of it. And it's like if you want to read about One Piece, right? You read One Piece. It's one book, right? It's one book, and you start from the beginning and you keep going, If you want to read about Dragon Ball, it's one book and you keep going.
Exactly.
Everything. There's just so much excess of this stuff. I think people, I don't want to turn this into an economics class, but there's supply and demand, but you can't give this consumer too much choice because otherwise they're just going to give up and throw their hands up.
100%.
You have to streamline their choices and say, okay, you want to read, did you love Far From Home? There's one Spider-Man book that we've been publishing for the last 60 years. This is the Spider-Man book that you need to read where you read about Peter Parker's adventures. That's it, but there's just so many. Like, where do you even begin? Where do you even start with this stuff,
Like, so you imagine sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, like, you imagine if, because you figure one of the big things, there's so many comic book writers, right? Imagine if Disney was like, hey, we're going to write a new Spider-Man. We're going to do Spider-Man. Matt, go ahead. You continue your story with Far From Home. But Kyle, go write something else about Spider-Man. And Dave, you go write something else. And we're going to put the same movie out the same year, but they're not going to be in the same fucking. It's like, what is going on right now? And that's literally like the problem that you have is, you have Marvel and you have DC, and you could probably say there's 5 big comic book names between Jeff Johns, Brian K. Vaughan, Mark Millar, Frank Miller. Who am I missing here? Alan Moore. You can say Garth Ennis, but he's out of his fucking mind.
Brian Bendis.
But so you have these 8 guys that are like, Brian Azzarello too. Azzarelli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian
So
Azzarello.
let's say there's 10 guys total. Everybody wants to jump on him, and then they may be like, well, I have this idea for Batman, and then the other one's like, I have an idea for Batman. Like, cool, we like both your ideas. Go do it. We'll put them all out next week. And it's like, whoa, why? Like, why can't they don't? They should figure out a way, and maybe like you said, in a financial standpoint, it makes no sense. But to be like, hey, we're going to give you this run of Batman, and you're going to take Batman, and you're going to write Batman 1. We're going to give you 24 issues, so you can have, what was that, 6, 12, 18? You have 4 arcs to cover. If you want to do one huge story, cool. If you want to do 6 little stories, cool. If you want to make whatever you want to do, here you go. You want to do 24 one-shots, whatever. Then when you're done, we're going to bring you on, and you're going to do something, and then you're going to do something. And then, like, stagger it that way, rather than be like, all right, all you go. Have fun. See what the fuck happens.
That's what they do, though. That's what they do.
The mess in half.
They spread it and they spread it out, and they spread out it's just too much. And then that's why comic sales for all the titles are very, very low. Something like, but then you look at Walking Dead, right? Walking Dead sells like gangbusters, and it has been for the last 10 years. There's just one Walking Dead book, And
so now they're doing it.
I like the show. This is what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a great gimmick, honestly. It's probably going to sell well too. But
I've bought all 4 of them so far.
It's a good idea. I mean, it's a gimmick, but it's a good gimmick. It's probably going to do really well for them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think the only thing that sucks is there was a lot of bullshit in The Walking Dead that probably could have gotten cut out.
Yeah.
And I see Dave. Dave, did you finish it all? Did you read it all?
I read most of it until when they were safe in the town for safe in the town, which is like every third arc.
Yeah.
This is I think when Carl gets shot in the gut, and you're like, oh, he's dead, and then he's not for the next few books, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then he comes back. I know what where they ended and everything, but I was like, I don't care as much. And I think a lot of it had to do with the show dragging it out, and the comics started to follow that pattern where I was like, we'll give you one dumb issue to deal with, and then it's like, by the way, zombies, we forgot those are a thing in the background. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of you can only watch them get overrun so many times where you're like, dude, just stop trusting everyone. You see someone, just shoot them at this point. You should know.
Yeah, they did. They extended that too long. It should have ended way. And the weird thing about that series, which always blew my mind, was they had artists design. I think they ended with 182. I think that was last. But they had 183, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could look at the covers for all those books, and then literally, again, I think it was 182. I don't know off the top of my head. When they were like, "Oh, issue 182 is coming out. By the way, it's over. It's over." And I remember being like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they ended that book. The ending of that book was such a fucking cop-out. And I know we're running long on time. I don't want to keep it too long. But, I'll spoil it if you guys want, unless you guys know the ending of it.
By all means. I gave up on that a long time ago.
Dave, are you okay if I say this?
Yeah, I know what it is.
All right, so spoiler, everybody. The fact that they just said Carl was telling a story the entire time to his daughter.
What?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Literally, he's the last book opens and Carl's coming out of a house. You're just like, what the fuck? And he's married to Sophia, I think. Not Leah, it's Sophia, and his daughter, I believe, if it's on that, jumps on his lap and she's like, "Can you finish telling me the story of Uncle Rick?" And you're just like, "No, Grandpa Rick." And you're just like, "No fucking way." And he literally the whole time is just him telling this story. I was like, I guess.
Why would you tell a child that story?
The better part is, how did he know everything that happened?
Yeah, that he wasn't in it.
You're you were not here. You have no idea.
Yeah, and then Michonne took a spoon, shoved it up the governor's ass, and scooped his own eye out with it. That's something that actually happens. That why would she ever share the details of that?
Yeah.
And why would you tell that to a child? That doesn't even make sense.
There was a lot of rumors where they were going to be there was an alien invasion. There was a rumor that they were stuck in one state the entire time, and they were going to find out there was only this one state that was overrun. The rest of the world was completely fine. So
in real life, that would be Florida. I think we all know that.
Yeah, but the fact that they just were like, "Hey, we're just going to end this. And Carl's telling pretty much a bedtime story the entire time. And see you later. Thanks.
Hey, Cam, you know what? We'll never know, but I guarantee you, maybe one day it'll come out. I guarantee you, Cam, it wasn't intended to be that way. I bet you that something happened behind the scenes where Robert Kirkman got really upset with the people at Image. Something happened, and he's like, fuck it. I'm going to end it this way. I'm done with this. I guarantee you something bad happened behind the scenes where he's like, all right, fine, I'm done. I'm just going to end it. Screw it. I'm done with this. I'm a millionaire anyway. I'm going to move on to something else. I don't care. Whatever. Here's your fucking ending. Yeah.
Because he, when it happened, he was just like, he said some weird remarks or something along the lines of yeah, I decided when this was coming out that we were just going to end it. There was no good way to really go on without, because then he started bringing up people are they expected the next big thing to be the aliens coming in. Why did the virus do this but not affect people here? So he's like, I just decided we're going to end it on a slightly positive note. You're it wasn't fucking positive. Everyone you cared about is dead. And then you're like, oh, by the way, it was all a story. I made up most of the parts because you can't tell. I wasn't in half of it.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because I know obviously they're printing it in color. They're redoing the Dexter TV show because the ending of the TV show was fucking so bad.
They're continuing it. That's not redoing. They're continuing it after.
Yeah, but they were supposed to. They're because people were like, dude, this was terrible. They wrote an 8th book because the show was so bad. And crazy. Now they're like, hey, we're gonna boot miniseries to kind of fix the error. So it would be interesting if it is true that you think, Kyle, maybe behind the scenes that there is an issue. It would be interesting to see if when they get to issue whatever 182 in color, because I know that Image was putting out The Walking Dead, and then Robert Kirkman made Skybound into its own publishing company, and now Skybound is technically the people that are putting out The Walking Dead, but it still has Image's tag on it. I'm assuming there's some sort of some sort of bullshit. Yeah, there's something there. So it would be interesting to see down the line if Kirkman changes anything in the book or if he changes the ending. So
that'll be interesting.
Who the fuck knows?
Why Am I a Nerd podcast network has been brought to you by our sponsor, Me Moms. The best breakfast and lunch down the Jersey Shore with 3 great locations in Wall Township, Middletown, and Brick, New Jersey. Me Moms specializes in unique and fun takes on your traditional lunch and breakfast items. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find more information at www.memoms.com.
That pretty much does it. So, Matt, why don't we wrap this up by going over real fast what we can find at the comm shops on Wednesday, and then just go straight into Shenanigans Engine, and then we will wrap this thing up.
All right. So from DC, we've got Detective Comics number 1032, The Flash number 767, Wonder Woman 768, Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Flashpoint number 1, Dark Knight's Death Metals, The Last Stories of the DC Universe number 1. Can they fuck off with that title? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but real quick, what Kyle was saying before, the what if stories, the Flashpoint is technically a what if story.
Very true. Very true.
I just picked. I read the Hush multiverse tale. That was all fucking weird. I have to reread this, but this will be interesting.
The last one on this list. I'm already rolling my eyes at the last one. But so we've also got Batman Black and White number 1, Superman Endless Winter Special number 1, American Vampire 1976 number 3, Sweet Tooth The Return number 2, DC's Very Merry Multiverse number 1.
Aww. That sounds sweet.
From Marvel, The House of Ideas, we've got The Amazing Spider-Man number 54, Venom number 31, The Avengers 39, Marauders 16, Spider-Man number 5, Star Wars 9, Captain Marvel 24, Guardians of the Galaxy 9, Strange Academy 6, Juggernaut number 4, Conan the Barbarian number 17, Sword number 1, King in Black, Namor number 1, Ultraman, Rise of the Ultraman, number 4. Warhammer 40,000, Marnius Calgar, number 3. Heroes at number 1. From
Dave, are you a 40K fan?
Yeah, love it.
I saw you nodding.
That story goes deep. I didn't realize how in depth that was, but it's also 38,000 years in the fucking future, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. From IDW, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 112. We've got Lock and Key / The Sandman Universe, Hell and Gone number 0. The Transformers number 25. Usagi Yojimbo number 15. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 276. Sleeping Beauties number 4. Mountainhead number 5. Scarin' Hood number 2. Uncle Scrooge number 57, and something that doesn't make sense to me, Marvel Action Spider-Man number 4, Marvel Action Chillers number 3. How is that possible? How is IDW publishing Marvel books? We've also got the Comic Book History of Animation number 1.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's like children's versions.
So bullshit. Like, why isn't Marvel just putting that out? Like, it doesn't make sense. From Boom, we've got Firefly number 23, Seven Secrets number 5, Mighty Morphin number 2, Red Mother number 11, and Origins number 2.
They dropped the Power Rangers tagline.
Yeah, they really did.
That's so bad.
From Image, we've got Crossover number 2, Homesick Pilots number 1, and Getting It Together number 3. From Dynamite, unsurprisingly, we have Red Sonja, The Price of Blood, number 1, and Vampirella, The Dark Powers, number 1. I swear to God, if Dynamite doesn't get another IP, for the love of like every single
Vampirella,
it's Red Sonja and Vampirella every fucking week. Do something else. It's either Red Sonja and Vampirella or Red Sonja with Vampirella every fucking week.
Or the death of Betty Page for a while there, or Betty.
Yeah, but she was probably killed by Red Sonja and Vampirella. Like, I wouldn't be shocked because that was the ending to the fucking book. From Dark Horse, we got Norse Mythology, number 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Trauma Team, number 4, Alien, the original screenplay, number 5, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, National Anthem, number 3, Bill and Ted Are Doomed, number 4, and Resident Alien, Your Ride's Here, number 2.
Okay.
That works.
All right. Yeah.
What's our shenanigans this week, bro?
Bro, it's radiation. You ever notice 90% of these superpowers come from someone, getting bitten by something irradiated? Yes, I'm talking about my beloved friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here. You would just die. Like, you would literally, and it would be a horribly slow, incredibly painful death as your cells literally broke down from within. Like, spider venom that's irradiated in your blood. Like, no, you're not waking up in shape. And so help me, even if you did get actual spider powers, you're probably going to look like a fucking spider. Like, you're growing extra eyes, you got all the weird fucking furry hair that irritates people, you're sucking the blood out of people. Like, no. Like, radiation is a very terrible and very terrifying thing. And in comic books, just like, fuck it. Radioactive dog, now you got dog powers. You can sniff anything.
So are you admitting that your favorite comic book hero is a fraud?
I mean, I would take that over the traumatization of watching your parents die in front of you and then becoming a vigilante that beats people to a pulp but doesn't murder them. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. If you're broken by that kind of trauma, you don't have a moral code. Like, you're actively murdering people in the streets.
So you're agreeing that your favorite comic book hero is Joke?
But he's less of a joke than yours.
No, he's not. How are you
100% is. I just told you how I'm going to say that.
You also just said that Spider-Man. You also
just
said that Spider-Man was a fraud and his entire character is a joke.
I didn't say he was. I never said he was a fraud. I said it's not realistic. Shenanigans engines are about things that enable bullshit in comics.
Well,
radiation enables bullshit in comics.
You admit it. Go Buckeyes. Once again, this is Why Am I Nervous Joe Comics. You can follow us on Instagram, Why Am I Official, Facebook.com/Why Am I Nervous. Listen to new issues every Tuesday on YouTube. Your favorite podcast service. Kyle and Dave, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming back.
Guys. Yeah, appreciate it. We'll definitely have you on again soon.
Matt, I appreciate you admitting. I
didn't admit any. Like, everyone can go back and listen. I admit. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just saying radiation in general doesn't do anything the way they make it implied to in comics.
So your character,
would just die.
And your favorite character would not exist.
Yeah, and Batman would. You mean to tell me nobody sought to shoot Batman in the fucking mouth? This guy fights like 3 different criminals that use gas-based powers, and he's out there every day like, he'll never get me. And his fucking mouth is open. His nose and mouth are exposed. He would be the first superhero to die from.
We're the Nerds with the Mouse. Until next time, we're out.